it's Chi-Town, it's Bears on the flight. Let me go tune in to KIEQ on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the likes.
Ryan Poles dropped an update on the Bears pass rusher pursuit. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of KIEQ on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, make sure you also do me a huge favor by also hitting the like button on today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic. Bears fans, before I go any further with today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic, I just want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, BetUS. Bears fans, BetUS is currently offering a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. That's an absolutely amazing deal. I know that I'll be making my bets all season long through BetUS. And after watching Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze play against the Cincinnati Bengals and that big time catch that Rome Odunze made on Saturday against the Bengals, I am definitely taking the over on Rome Odunze's receiving touchdowns this season. It's currently set at 4.5 receiving touchdowns for Rome Odunze this season. And I think it's a smart choice to take the over on that, because I think Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze are going to have a big year, even as rookies for the Chicago Bears. And Bears fans, you guys can make that exact same bet by clicking the link down below in the description of today's video and bet with BetUS all season long and bet on Chicago Bears all season long using BetUS. But Bears fans, please gamble responsibly. All right, Bears fans, on today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic, I want to talk a little bit more about the edge rusher situation going on in Chicago. And this will be the last time I actually discuss this situation in regard to Ryan Poles possibly adding the edge rusher until he actually decides to make a move or not. As we all know, the Bears were in on possibly adding or trading for star edge rusher Matthew Judon. We all know what happened there. He ended up getting traded to the Atlanta Falcons, but it really showed that Ryan Poles is intrigued or interested in adding to the roster. And we all know that Ryan Poles is always looking to make this Chicago Bears roster better. But after missing out on Matthew Judon, the options are really limited for the Chicago Bears if they want to sign or trade for someone to really elevate this edge rusher group that we have in Chicago. Ryan Poles actually offered an update on the situation that I wanted to share with you guys on today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic. He actually spoke with Fox 32 broadcast crew during the Chicago Bears win over the Bengals on Saturday at Soldier Field. He made it clear that his stance on the Judon pursuit was the same as it's been with previous trades. He stated when opportunities are there to make the Chicago Bears roster better and it makes sense, he will be aggressive. And once again, with Judon off the table, it sounds like the team is content with basically sticking with some of the young guys that they have on their roster. He had this to say, Bears fans: "We're always looking across the league to find opportunities to make our team better. Obviously, they got to make sense all the way around. When those doors open, we're going to go through them and have those conversations. But I'll tell you guys this, I've been really excited about Austin Booker's play. Dominic Robertson has started to develop. We got some good competition, and I think either way, we're going to be all right. But again, as a front office, we're going to just continue to look for those opportunities." Bears fans, I really like what Ryan Poles had to say in this little interview in regard to the edge rusher situation in Chicago, because as a general manager, you have to do your due diligence, especially when you feel like you have a need. And if you ask a lot of Bears fans, that is probably one of the needs that we have on this roster, is that edge rusher position alongside Montez Sweat, to go along with maybe some more interior offensive linemen for the Chicago Bears. But most of the time, we are focusing on the edge rusher across from Montez Sweat. So as a GM, you have to do your due diligence in order to make this football team better. I say it all the time on the podcast. Ryan Poles is always looking at different avenues, whether it's trade or signing someone off the free agency market. He's always looking at different avenues to try to make this football team better. And this was no different. When you look at a guy like Matthew Judon, yes, he was 32 years old. Yes, he won a new massive contract extension, but Matthew Judon would have made this Bears defensive line better, right? So to me, I love the fact that he's always being aggressive in order to make this football team better. And as a GM, your job is never done. Ryan Poles has done an outstanding job on building this roster from top to bottom, but he is still always constantly building in order to make this team better, because I think he feels that adding a guy like Matthew Judon, even though he was going into at 32 years old, right? He believes that Matthew Judon would have been able to elevate this team, and maybe he could have been the missing piece to really propel the Chicago Bears team into the playoffs. I think Ryan Poles right now, Bears fans, has a mindset that this team can go to the playoffs as soon as this year, that this team can possibly even compete for the division as soon as this year. So that's why he went out, shot a shot at Matthew Judon. It didn't work out, but I do like the fact that he is being aggressive. But here's another thing, Bears fans. I also like the idea of letting these young guys develop. We always talked a lot about Austin Booker and how he has looked really good during training camp and in these preseason games. Austin Booker has everything that you want to see or need in an edge rusher, especially when you're looking at this Matt Eberflus defense. Austin Booker has really showcased his power, his quickness, and his instincts during these preseason games for the Chicago Bears. So I know that Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus, and a lot of the Chicago Bears fan base, including myself, are really excited for a guy like Austin Booker. But this is what concerns me. He also brought up Dominique Robinson. Dominique Robinson looks like he is doing pretty well in practice, but then it's still not really translating to the games. This is a guy that we felt that should have been developed by now, and maybe he does come out and has a really good season. I know that he put on a lot of weight and muscle going into this new season. I know I've been hearing a lot of reports out of practice that he's also looked good in his one-on-one reps, 11-on-11s as well, but it's not really translating to the game. So obviously, I am fine with Ryan Poles on the Bears not making any moves and just letting these young guys work and develop. And hopefully things work out for this Bears defensive line. You still have Montez Sweat. You still have a guy like DeMarcus Walker. You still have Javon Dexter as well. But then you would really just be depending on Austin Booker and Dominique Robinson to be able to carry the load. With Montez Sweat getting most of the double teams or all the double teams, that means we really need a guy like Austin Booker or Dominique Robinson to step up for this Bears defensive line if Ryan Poles and the Bears decide not to make a move. So it sounds like Ryan Poles is content either way. Rather, he goes out and finds a guy to come add to this defensive line, or just letting Austin Booker and Dominique Robinson really battle it out for that starting edge rusher spot alongside Montez Sweat. Here's the thing that sucks, Bears fans. Ryan Poles can go out and make a move all he wants, but the options are limited. I know Hassan Reddick requested a trade, but the New York Jets have already made it very clear that they do not want to trade him. So there's one avenue that's probably gone. You can wait until cuts are made prior to week 1 of the NFL season. But that's also a risk because who knows if teams will actually cut a quality edge rusher, right? So it sounds right now that Ryan Poles is just going to let this thing ride out. He's going to be content with Austin Booker developing. Hopefully Dominique Robinson develops the right way as well, and he could be a huge contributor to this defensive line as well. But at the end of the day, I think you just have to depend on guys like Montez Sweat, Javon Dexter, Andrew Billings, DeMarcus Walker, right, to really carry the load while a guy like Austin Booker develops, right? I know people are really excited about Austin Booker, but you have to remember that he is still a rookie. I still think it's going to take some time for him to possibly dominate the game. I could be totally wrong. Maybe he comes out as soon as week 1 and absolutely tears it up, which is also possible. But we do have to remember that we have to give him that little bit of grace period because he is a rookie. But overall, Bears fans, like I always like to say about Ryan Poles, I trust him and the decisions that he wants to make for this roster. I do like the fact that he continues to stay aggressive to make this football team better, but I do also like the idea of allowing a guy like Austin Booker to develop, get playing time, and maybe you have a gem there as soon as his rookie year. So we'll let this process play out. This will be the last time I talk about this until Ryan Poles decides to make a move or not. But Bear fans, give me your guys' opinion down below in the comment section of today's video. Do you think Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears should stay content and allow Austin Booker to be that starting edge on the other side of Montez Sweat? Or you think he should continue to possibly make a move to bring an edge rusher here to Chicago? Let me know what you're feeling about that down below in the comment section. But as always, Bears fans, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of KIEQ on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. And Bears fans, don't forget to go to BetUS using my link down below in the description of today's video to receive your 125% on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Go have some fun on BetUS, Bears fans. But other than that, I'll be back for an all new Bears podcast right here on KIEQ on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic. You can go and subscribe cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic.